Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an hilarious show for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, everybody has their own top fives, their own top tens, whatever you want to call it, right? Everybody has their own list. And of course, you have the lists out there that are created by ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of these other guys, right? But generally, people like who they like, and people have their reasons for who they have in their top fives or who in their top 10. And, you know, every now and often, we're constantly looking like, well, could this guy potentially make it in the top 5 or the top 10? Give you guys an example. A lot of people are now saying that if Stephen Curry wins the NBA championship this year, which would give him 5 rings, he should then be a part of the GOAT conversation. That's the conversation that some other people are having as well, right? So everybody has that. Now, you guys know that one of the most triggering things to do or say these days is to have an NBA top 5 where you don't include LeBron James. That's the quickest way to send his supporters and, to a certain extent, the media into an absolute frenzy, right? Now, as y'all aware, the Lakers just got eliminated, obviously, by the Minnesota Timberwolves in round 1. But what I was unaware of was Charles Barkley had actually made some comments about the Lakers and in specific LeBron James going into this series that I was unaware of. So I just want to quickly read what Charles Barkley actually had to say, right? And it says, Charles Barkley on LeBron. This is from Hoops. It says, if LeBron and the Lakers lose this series against Minnesota, I don't want to hear about LeBron James being a top 5 all-time player. Now, that's what Charles Barkley said. And some people are reacting to it, and we're going to react to that as well. Now, anyone hearing that will be like, oh, man, Charles is just hating on LeBron now because, you know, he don't like LeBron. And da-da-da-da-da. But no, actually, Charles has been consistent for quite some time about his top 10, right? And funny enough, he doesn't even have my favorite player in Kobe Bryant in his top 5. Now, I'm not making any shows about it or anything like that. LeBron fans, when you say something like that, they're going to get at you. But actually, Charles Barkley went on All the Smoke podcast 2 years ago, and they asked him about his top 10, they and Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. And Charles Barkley explained his top 10 right there and then. But before we even get into what Chuck had to say 2 years ago, today's video is brought to you by a sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what I want to do now is I want to play what Charles Barkley had to say to those guys there on All the Smoke 2 years ago, where he explained his top 10. And I want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
Top 5 all time. Who's in your top 5?
Michael, Oscar, Wilt, Kareem, Bill Russell.
Those are your top 5.
Kobe, LeBron, Tim Duncan, Hakeem, Jerry West. Those are my top 10. And then you got Magic, Bird, Shaq, Steph is right there in that vicinity. Elgin Baylor.
His top 10 was nice.
Can any current player crack the top 10 by the time they're done? In your top 10, in your opinion?
Look at that face.
No, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Steph is knocking on the door. If Steph win one more,
It's going to be hard not to.
it's going to be hard not to put him in the top 10.
Did you have Bron in your top 10?
He's 7 after
Okay.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's so funny. I had an argument with a dude. He's the biggest LeBron fan in the world. And I says, yo, man, I didn't put Steve Nash ahead of LeBron. No disrespect. I put Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I said, and I love LeBron. I said, but the difference, in my opinion, I says, Michael and Kobe will kill you.
Real
Like,
life.
Nothing.
I said, LeBron's a nice guy. I says, ain't nobody ever said Kobe and and Michael were nice guys. I said, those words ain't never been spoken. Nobody ever said, man, that Michael Jordan's a nice guy. I'm like, they did? Who said that?
They lying.
The
They don't
same
know
thing
him.
with Kobe. And there's nothing wrong with that. But LeBron, he's just a nice man. And I got him 7. Yeah.
So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say. Now, what's my takeaway from all of this? First of all, just reacting to that audio, I know it's going to piss off a lot of LeBron James fans that he ranked Kobe ahead of LeBron. Now, LeBron fans, they have a few arguments that they generally make. One of them is like, Kobe is 16-6. LeBron is 16-6 against Kobe in their head-to-head matchups. And I'm like, Kawhi Leonard has a winning record against LeBron James. So what does that mean? The minute you counter with, does that mean that he's better than LeBron James? Of course, they're going to tell you, hell no, he's not, right? They're just pretty much grasping for straws. Look, the reason I think Charles has Kobe ahead of LeBron is simply because he thinks he's a better player. And he's watched both of them, those guys play. And ultimately, it's just his opinion. Now, the issue then becomes is when you have someone with his platform, his resume, his cachet, the LeBron camp can't have people out there saying that. Everybody has to be on either he's the GOAT or he's right behind Michael Jordan. Those are their marching orders. That's the narrative. And if you deviate from that in any kind of way, you have an issue. Now, he talked about he doesn't want to hear anybody saying LeBron James is a top 5 player of all time after him losing if they lose in the first round, and then obviously they lost, so he doesn't have him in the top 5. Look, he's holding losses against him. Or rather, he's like, look, if you guys say he's as good as he is, then why can't he do why can't he get the job done? Of course, a LeBron fan's retort is going to be, Charles, what do you expect from him? My God, the guy is he's 40 years old. What do you expect from him? Like, come on, you're being unreasonable. And then some other people will jump in and say, but you guys don't use that as a reason when you're going after Michael Jordan with his Wizard years. Y'all don't care that he was 40 years old. Y'all like, man, look how great LeBron was in his 40s compared to Michael Jordan in his 40s. That's your whole argument, when the reality is the only reason LeBron scores more than Michael Jordan in his 40s is because he takes more threes. That's all. Just go look at the box score. Michael Jordan took less threes than LeBron. If Jordan took the volume of threes, he would be making more, and his average would have probably been from 22 to maybe 26, 27. But the LeBron fans are trying to turn it into something else, right? And you also got to remember they were playing in a slower era where teams were scoring less. None of that matters to LeBron fans. Context doesn't matter. They just up there twerking it up, hollering, screaming, doing all type of nonsense, right? But anyway, my point is Charles's list. And the point, the larger point I want to make is that some people are still holding losing against him, which goes to Rob Parker's point. The longer he plays and he doesn't win, it makes him look worse in the eyes of some. But ultimately, it's just Charles Barkley's opinion. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you on the next show. Peace.